Hey guys, how's it going? Hopefully good. Today we are back in this little old game I like to call Minecraft. And today we're going to do things a little bit differently because we're going to make something today that benefits not only you, but also me. But probably more me, but all of us in the long term, I'm sure. So, something that has been bugging me for a while now, and when I say a while, I mean like the entirety of this channel's existence, is the process I take when creating videos to show you. So, I don't know about you, but when I make something in Minecraft, my general process goes like this. So I go into testing world, test around, create something, and when it's ready, I bring it into a showcasing world to showcase to you, the viewer. Now, this process is okay, but the problem with it is each time you have to create a new world, make it look all pretty, you can't have command blocks strewn all over the place. That would be wildly unprofessional, very, very amateurish. But today we're going to try to fix this problem. We're going to try and solve it. How? Well, we're going to try to create a space that's dedicated to both showcasing and also testing with some cool little extras down the line. Sounds pretty good. I mean, look at this place right here. This is just not the place to be testing anything. It's like trying to run a mail order service out your bathroom. It just seems inappropriate. So, fortunately enough, there actually is a place just for us around here. Now, as I was doing a little bit of grave robbing and stuff, I came upon this map right here, and it details a location that I actually can't see visually. But apparently, according to this map, there used to be an old mine shaft down this way, which will be perfect for us. But since then, I think it must have like caved in or something. So we're gonna crack this guy open and see if we've got something to work with. Okay, let's blow this guy up. Hopefully not creating some kind of earthquake or something, because that would be bad. That would be absolutely terrible. Oh, well, it worked. Why didn't it all blow up? Oh, well, it's probably better, actually. Oh, look, a mysterious cavern. Who would have thought this would be right here? Well, let's take a look around. What could possibly be down here? Oh, look, a command. Is that a command block? That is a command block. What's that doing in this old, ancient, caved-in cavern? Wow, this place looks absolutely perfect. It's like all the measurements and everything. Perfect for showcasing. Who'd have thought this would be here after all these years? Absolutely crazy. So this right here is going to be our work environment. To make it sound fancier than it really is, I guess we could call this place the testing chamber. Has a nice ring to it. So, as it so happens, this is exactly 64 blocks by 64 blocks, which is a very nice number to work with in Minecraft because that's exactly 4 chunks by 4 chunks. And as the fate of the universe would have it, these are all perfectly aligned with the chunk grid. How does these types of things happen, you know? Just randomly generated just for us? Very nice of the game to do it for us. But at the moment, it looks a little bit rough. It's going to need quite a bit of work, but I'm sure it will look pretty cool in the future. Now today, what we're going to be working on is something pretty neat, I think. As the title of this video suggests, we're actually going to be working on artificial environments, right? So, what exactly do I mean by that? So, not too long ago, 1.9... No, not 1.10. 1.10, these little guys were added. These are structure blocks. I haven't really used them all that much, but they are actually very, very handy. So obviously we've always, well not always, but for a while, we've been able to use clone to clone stuff into the world. But structure blocks are really good because they let you essentially store very large structures or terrain in kind of like the cloud in a digital space. It doesn't actually have to be represented here in the world. It can just kind of be inside that block. And that's actually very, very handy, especially for what we're going to do right here. So what I'd actually like to do right here is I'd like to create some artificial biomes or some biome simulations, I guess. That's what I'm calling this video, where essentially we can actually spawn in, quote unquote, biomes to use in this kind of artificial environment. And I think it'll look very cool. But in order for us to do this, we need to actually go and capture some biomes because I am not building this by hand. So we're going to go around to the world and we're going to capture some biomes to bring back home like a stray dog, stray biomes. So yeah, we're trying to capture these biomes, a little bit like Pokemon. We're looking for snapshots of interesting land features. For example, this right here could work pretty nicely because it's got a natural arch. I'm not really looking for anywhere that's overly mountainous, like that mountain over here, or this mountain over there. Generally flat areas, so this area could work pretty nicely. I do like that arch, actually. But you've got to consider that we are working within 4 chunks. So if we start by that tree right here, like there, then we go 1 chunk, well 2 chunks, 3 chunks, and whereabouts that sheep is 4 chunks. So a fairly large space, but it's not absolutely massive. So I'm going to look around and see if we can find some pretty nice areas. Probably plains, savannas, maybe a snowy biome, maybe a desert, maybe a mesa actually, now thinking about it. But we'll have a look around and see what we can come up with. So I guess a good way to picture it is imagining that it's a picture. So if you actually put a frame around it, you can kind of get a good reference point of how big and how much area you're actually looking at. Like this right here is obviously a shoreline. It's got a bit of water, it's got a bit of land. I think that'd be a pretty nice little feature to look at. So let's add this to our bank of structures. So this area right here is also pretty good. Now it does actually have some mountains, which I said I didn't want, but it is mostly flat. But the mountains provide a nice little backdrop so that it's not just a flat desert. Let's add it to the bank. Now I don't know if we have enough space, like enough depth in the cave to actually fit a ravine, but we will try, and if it doesn't fit, we'll just have to like edit the bottom of it, I guess. But a ravine as a feature is pretty cool. Now structure blocks, as you may know, can only actually contain a 32 by 32 by 32 area. I feel like there is a way to actually make it bigger than that, but I don't know if that's a bug, so I don't really want to rely on bugs. So as you can see, the bounding box, or the area, actually only extends to around about down here, so we can't get to the bottom of the ravine, but that's okay. So a trick that I'm going to use to actually get a 64 by 64 area, because obviously that's the area we need, is you can actually put structure blocks inside the regions of structure. Actually, these need to be one lower block. Mistakes could be made. So basically, yeah, if these structure blocks right here are in the bounding box of the first structure blocks, if I move this down here, then you can actually include extra ones, if that makes sense. As you can see, this one's actually just moved down because I've moved it down 1 block. But if we actually just raise that up, so minus 31, like so, it will fix itself. I'm just going to keep doing that to each of those ones. And that way we can include 64 by 64 blocks in the entire region, which is always nice. Yeah, the really good thing about this is you can just sort of scoop up that command block if you put it into its own command block, structure block, that's what I'm talking about. And then you can just plop it down somewhere else in the world and then save those pretty easily. So if I do this, you can see those ones actually pop up like so. And if that fits right, that is about right, I think. You can just go inside these and edit them. Obviously this is the ravine, but let's call this one the plains. And yeah, it's just really easy to save like that way. Right, so we've captured a couple of biomes. We are the biome master. Plains, I choose you. But now what we're going to do is we're going to actually test that this actually works. I mean, it will work. It's not particularly complicated, but there is a large margin for error when you're copying and pasting 64 by 32 block structures, because if you do this wrong, then basically you destroy your world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a backup just in case, because I have had these types of things happen before and it's just devastating. So I'm going to create a backup and then we're going to test to see if this all fits nicely. And another thing is that some of these things actually have varying like altitudes, I guess. Like some of them have water, some of them don't have water, and some have mountains. So I have to see how they all fit together and how we can work all this out. Right, so the good news is the world is now backed up. So if we mess everything up, we're safe to replace it with another one. Right, so to do this, we need to go to the lowest coordinate, which would be, I can't see because myself is in the way, would be over this way, right? And this platform is at level 20. So if we go there, you see it's level 20. So if we go up 12 blocks, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that should be around about where the structure should spawn. So let's see what this does. I think we can preload it maybe. There we go. So that's where it should land, maybe. Actually, no, it doesn't. It doesn't do that. We need to go -1. -1. Got to be careful of these things, guys. It's just these tiny little things, mistakes you make, and then everything goes south. So if we do that and load this in, I mean, that just loads the structure, so it'll be fine. Just check that everything's fine. That seems to be in order. This also seems to be in order. Is the other side in order? Should also be. But as long as it fits within that grid, it should be okay. Yes, everything seems to be pretty good. So let's try this out. So yeah, we're trying with the ravine. So yeah, let's try this out. What? Oh, I see. That's a save. What have I done? Yeah, so the reason that one failed is because this is a save block, and that obviously doesn't load things in. Now, if memory serves me correctly, if I actually change this to a load, this actually won't load it properly, I don't think. So let's see what happens. Yeah, that didn't actually load it. And the reason that it does that is because I think I actually saved into RAM. So basically, if I actually reset the world, so take it out of RAM, then that should actually load fine. Weird things with structure blocks, because you can't actually save stuff via redstone. That's kind of like to prevent like spamming worlds with stuff. So yeah, gotta relog the world, and then it should hopefully work, unless I've messed something else up. Okay, the world has been reloaded. Also, we should start with these ones first, otherwise that one will probably overwrite all the other ones. So let's try this out. That's a load. Load ravine. Try. Okay, that did that. Alright, that's sort of not in the right position, but it should be okay. Try this one again. So, that water is going to cause some chaos there. Let's try this one as well. Oh, I already did that one. Okay, well, that got updated, I guess. And this one. And finally, this guy over here, which will load the core piece, I guess. That's still a save. I made the mistake twice. I am just so very clever. Okay, gotta reload again. Good job, Sarc. You know, looking back at that footage, was it just me, or did the block actually change back to a save after I changed it to a load? That's strange behavior. I didn't know they did that. But let's try this now. And we've actually managed to do it. You know what, actually, that doesn't look that bad. I actually quite like that water feature. It looks kind of cool, though it's a bit glitched there. Yeah, I wasn't actually planning for it to be that low, because obviously you want it to sort of be, you want like the lowest point, so I guess like this level here, which would be level 11, you want that to be basically here. Now this isn't really a problem, because the entire area is basically going to be overwritten all the time when you change things. So it's just kind of a matter of adjusting that to where you want to. And as you can see at the bottom, where it doesn't actually, there's not enough space, so we reach bedrock. I don't actually know what happens if you try to put anything in the void. There's particles down here. I can't see anything. That's strange. I mean, I'd imagine it just wouldn't work, but you never know. You never know. So yeah, that's what that looks like so far. That looks really quite cool, actually. Quite a bizarre thing to be looking at, just like a random ravine in the middle of a cave system. I wonder what it looks like without the night vision. Who would have guessed? It's actually very dark without the night vision. So, seem to be getting a couple lighting glitches. Like, I don't know where the light's supposed to be coming from here. I guess it must be a remnant from the sea lantern, maybe? That's another thing. I actually am not sure how we're going to handle the lighting. I guess you could just have, like, torches and stuff. That should work. But as demonstrated here, the lighting doesn't actually seem to want to update properly. That's even weirder. Why did that happen? Who knows? Minecraft light is the weirdest, buggiest thing ever. So let's try a couple other biomes, make sure everything works. I'm actually kind of curious what happens with like water-based ones like that shoreline I showed earlier. I think I figured out why the blocks are resetting to save structure blocks. It's because when we actually power them, they're overwriting to the previous state, which was a save. I thought it was just like, for some reason, reverting for some other weird reason. But let's try the desert. That's quite a different environment. Hopefully that doesn't have a load of... I just had the thought that that would be like a load of... Imagine, right, that we have no bedrock and it's just empty void, and then you lower a load of sand, put a load of sand on top of it. That would be an absolute disaster. Can you imagine like all the thousands of falling sand entities that would incur? See, this is a save right here. That's so weird. Why does it do that? Yep, that seems to be fairly stable. We're not having the world collapse to the floor. But as you can see right here, we don't really want this highest level here to be up there. We want it to be down here. Although, I don't know if that would work. Actually, we might have to do it like that because I don't think it would actually fit. Yeah, exactly, because we don't have enough blocks downwards. So we'll have to make do with something like that. Now, the next logical step is to create an automatic system so we can automatically spawn each biome in without having to individually edit each structure block manually, which will be very convenient. It won't be very hard to do, I don't think. One thing to note, though, is that command blocks and structure blocks actually don't mix entirely well. That's kind of an exaggeration, but basically what I mean by it is that in 1.9, obviously, they added the new chain block and also the repeating command block. But basically, command blocks can operate in a sub-tick level. So if you have 5 chain commands, then those can all execute at the same time in the same tick. Whereas what I've noticed is that I don't think structure blocks can actually do that, so they don't work in a sub-tick level. So basically what I'm saying is they're a bit slower than command blocks, so you can't do everything in one single tick. It's not really an issue at all, actually, but it's just kind of worth noting if ever you're having problems. So we're actually going to build a control room right about here, because I think it'll be a good viewing platform to get a good vantage point. And here we're going to be able to control each biome setting and everything. So yeah, let's do that. You know, I think you should disregard what I just said, because I think I lied. Here I am, spreading misinformation. Apparently they do actually work in sub-tick, which might be something new, because I'm sure they didn't used to. But as I can demonstrate, let's destroy a section. Let's just like snip off a little bit. Let's get rid of, say, from here to over here. Let's kind of like bite off the corner of it. Fill that with air or something. So yeah, if we press this button up here, that'll actually repair it. But what it's actually doing, can you get that in shot? Maybe a little bit if you look. There you go, it did actually repair itself. What's actually doing though is it's respawning the entire structure. So yeah, that works pretty nicely. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put all of the biomes in, and then we can take a look at what each of them look like. Okay, so it's kind of working a little bit. There's a couple issues that I'm going to have to iron out, but it's mostly working. It can spawn in a few of them, but some of them have a couple issues. So this right here is the desert hill, that's what I'm calling it. It can also spawn in the forest arch. I think I showed you this one. This is the one, well, it's a forest, and it has an arch, hence the descriptive name. We can also spawn in the ice spike. I don't think you've seen this one. This is an ice spike. Looks pretty neat. As you can see, there's still some issues. Like we're gonna have to modify these a little bit. These are far from finished. I don't think these aren't finished at all. There's also the ravine. You've seen that one. This one seems to work pretty nicely actually. And there's also the other two which don't work. So we have the plains and the shoreline. So the shoreline actually does spawn in, but for some reason I decided to give it an irregular shape, so it doesn't actually spawn properly. It doesn't destroy the previous terrain, and it also spawns in these redstone blocks, which is bad, because then once those have happened, once those have been placed, they actually stop spawning the other stuff. But it's all pretty easily fixed, to be perfectly honest. I don't know why the plains isn't working though. Like if we press the plains button, it does nothing. Like nothing spawns in whatsoever, which is kind of weird. So these two are out of order for the time being, but it's probably not for very long, because I think it's probably a very easy issue to fix, to be honest. But you know guys, I think this is going to be a pretty cool little project. It's actually a very handy resource as well, once we've ironed out all of the bugs, all of the issues. And there are a lot of issues, but once we give it a little bit of love, I'm sure it will work very, very nicely. But anyway guys, that is all we have time for today. I do very much hope you enjoyed today's video. It's pretty fun to make, capturing all of those biomes. But if you did enjoy today's video, a like is of course always much appreciated. Subscribe if you're not already. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.